So hi all, welcome to this lecture. In this particular lecture, we will see the problem by LeetCode, that is analyze organization hierarchy. This is problem number 3482 and this is a hard category problem. So in this problem, we have an employees table given to us in which the employee ID is the unique key for this table, and each row contains information about an employee including their ID, their name, their manager's ID, their salary and department. So manager underscore ID is null for the top level manager, that is the CEO, right? Of course, because CEO is the highest level, so it doesn't have to report to anyone. Okay. So what exactly we have to do? It is saying that we need to write a solution to analyze the organizational hierarchy and answer the following. Hierarchy levels for each employee determine the level in the organization. CEO is level 1, employees reporting directly to the CEO are level 2, and so on. And as far as team size is concerned, so for each employee who is a manager, count the total number of employees under them, direct and indirect reports. Okay, so direct means those who are directly reporting under them, and indirect means those who are the people who are directly reporting under them. They will also be some kind of managers, and there will be people who directly report to those managers as well. So these are the indirect reports. Okay. So salary budget will be for each manager. Calculate the total salary budget they control, that is sum of the salaries of all employees under them including indirect reports plus their own salary. We need to return the result table ordered by the result ordered by level in ascending order, then by budget in descending order, and finally by employee name in ascending order. Okay, this is a little confusing, but let's ignore this for the timing. Let's ignore the order, because order is something that we will be defining later. At the very end we will be giving these ordering. Okay, so let us go to this particular table, right, and let us understand. Employee ID, employee name, manager ID is given. All these columns are present. So let us look at this. Employee ID 1 is Alice. Alice has a manager ID of null, which means that he is the CEO. Correct, he doesn't have to report to anyone, and his salary is this. Okay, now next come Bob. Bob is reporting directly to the manager. Okay, so Bob is a direct reporter. In the same way, Charlie is also a direct reporter, right? But if we look at David, David is reporting directly to Bob. He is not directly reporting to Alice, he is directly reporting to Bob. So with respect to Alice, David becomes an indirect reporter. So when we are calculating the salary also, right, when we have to add the salary, we also have to take these into account. These salary will also be added along with the manager's salary as well. Okay, so this is for the salary. If we talk about the team size, right, team size is also the same. Those who are reporting directly. Okay, but in case of team size, right, we need to make sure that manager itself is not counted. That means Alice will not be a part of that team. Okay, because there are 10 people, and if we talk with respect to Alice, it's because Alice is the CEO, so all the people who are reporting directly under him, right, will be 10 minus 1, that is 9, and that's 9 we have to print. That means that Alice himself is not going to be reported. Okay, will not be the one who will be counted. Okay, so how we are going to exactly approach this problem, right? If we look at this, right, if we look at, for example, let us look at employee ID 8. Employee ID 8 is Hank. Okay, and his manager ID is 4. So manager ID is 4 is this guy, David. David's again manager ID is 2. So 2 employee ID is Bob, and Bob's again manager ID is 1, that is Alice, right? So we need to go ahead and we need to find out what exactly is the salary and what exactly is the team size and what is also the level. Okay, so obviously because because Alice is the CEO, so he's is level 1. Charlie is directly reporting to Bob, so he's is level 2. Frank, David, all these guys, they are directly reporting to the people who are of level 2, who are indirectly reporting to level 1, so they are level 3. So we need to add the levels. So one thing is pretty sure, that we need to go ahead and apply a recursive CTE in this particular case, right? So let us go ahead and let us start writing the code. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to calculate recursively is to find out the level. Okay, so how we are going to say? We are just simply going to say with recursive, let us name this as temp h for the hierarchy. Okay, as This is a temporary table that we are creating. And first and foremost, in a recursive CTE, what we have to do, we need to create a base case, correct? Everywhere there is a base case. Okay, so the base case will be select employee ID, correct, then employee name, right, manager ID, and then we have the salary. Okay, and here we will say 1 as level. Okay, from employees. Okay, and here I will say where manager ID is null. Okay, so where manager ID is null. So what exactly is happening over here is, why we have given this as 1? Because this is the base case. Okay, because this is the base case, so we need to find out the people who have manager ID as 1. So we need to go ahead and we need to provide this person as level 1. Okay, this is the top level 1. Okay, so this becomes my base case. Now I will say union all, and this is actually the basic format, as an empirical syntax, you can say, for any recursive CTE. Okay, so first we mention the base case. Now with this base case, this becomes my the temp underscore h becomes this table. Okay, and then after that, if we need to recursively call it, we need to keep in mind that this particular record that we will get, right, this is the record that we will get once we run this code, once we run this query, right? If I go ahead and let's say if I run this query, if I only run this query, let's run this, you will get the first row only. See, you will get the first row. So this becomes my base case. When I say base case, this means that right now in the recursive CTE, right, in temp edge, this becomes my temp edge. Now with respect to this temp edge, right, what we will do, we will go ahead and we will say union all, and here we are going to write the actual code, that is the empirical code, right, which will perform the recursion. Okay, so I will say simply select e dot employee ID, okay, then e dot employee name, correct, then I will simply copy this one, and here I will just simply say e dot manager ID, e dot salary, and because we want to calculate recursively, right, so I will say level plus 1. Why level plus 1? Because level is 1 over here, it is stored within level, right? Whatever is stored within level, we are just incrementing it 1 and incrementing it by 1, and we are again storing it inside the level variable. Okay, that is what we are doing over here. And this level over here will be this level variable, right? It will be let's say h dot level, because this level is going to come from this particular temp h, right? And after that, after this level, right, what we are going to do, we are going to say from employee, right, from employees, that is, sorry about that, employees as e, and then we are going to do inner join temp h as h, right, on. Now when I will say on, right, now here we need to keep in mind, what is the thing which we need to keep in mind, this entire table is my employee ID table, right? And if you want to recursively, we want to calculate, we need to make sure that the manager ID coming from this particular the employee ID which is coming from this particular employee table, right, this particular employee table, this should be equal to the, this should be the manager ID, this manager ID should be equal to the employee ID which is coming from this particular table. So the employee ID coming from this table, right, should be equal to the manager ID which is coming from this, correct? I hope this part is clear. This becomes my temporary table, this temp h is now this. So the employee ID, because manager ID is already null, so what is the ID that we need to get? We need to map this ID, that is h dot employee ID. This employee ID needs to be mapped with which particular ID of the employee table, right? The manager ID. Okay, because we are trying to find out that this particular employee is the manager for which particular person, right? So that's why this is supposed to be the manager ID over here. And once we find out the manager ID, we want to get what? The employee ID from there. So basically this person is the manager for which all employees. That's what we are finding. Okay, so once we do this, we will say e dot manager underscore ID is equals to h dot employee underscore ID. And once we do this, right, once we run this, let's run this, you will see that we will get the levels. Okay, all the levels, so level 1 and level 2, all these values we will get over here. Okay, because we are mapping it to the manager ID. So we will do select this from temp h. So this is our first recursive CTE that has been created. If you just see, then our level has been created, if you can just see, right? So Alice is level 1, right? This becomes my base case, right? When it comes to the full employee table, so 1 from here is actually the manager ID for which people. So here we can see that manager ID 1 is for Bob and Charlie, right? So for Bob and Charlie, just increment it by 1, 2 and 2 it becomes. Okay, now this entirely in the next step, right? This entirely becomes my your base condition, right? Now after this, we need to go ahead and find out who all are the reportees for this second ID, right? So these are David and Eva is the one who are reporting, so they will be level number 3. Then next it's for Charlie, that is third. Then who all are reporting to Charlie? That is Frank and Grace over here, that is 3 and 3. Then again it will be level plus 1. So what is the current level? It is 2. Then 2 plus 1, that becomes 3. So that is why for 4, 5, 6, 7, right, it is 3, 3, 3, 3. Similarly, it is 4, 4, 4. So like that we have calculated the level recursively, right? So level we have created over here, right? Now what else we need to create? We need to go ahead and calculate the team size as well, right? So how do we go ahead and calculate the team size, right? Now before calculating the team size, right, we need to go ahead and we need to get the direct and the indirect like the subordinates, we can say indirect and direct subordinates for each and every manager, correct? Because we just saw in the case of Bob, right, Bob, Charlie directly reports to Alice, but David and Frank, they are indirect reportees of Alice, correct? And all these people, they are indirect reportees of Alice. Similarly, if you can just see Bob and your Frank and sorry, not Frank, these guys, David and Eva, right, they are direct reportees of Bob, right? But Frank and Grace, they are indirect reportees of Bob and Charlie. So in that particular case, for each and every person, there are some direct reportees and there are some indirect reportees. So we need to go ahead and we need to find out. Okay, so what we will do, okay, this will be a little longer table, okay, because what we are going to do, we are going to take every person and we are going to map it with the people who are below it. Similarly, we are going to take Bob and then we are going to map it with people below it. Similarly, we are going to take Charlie and we are going to map it with people below it. But how are we going to map it? Okay, so let us just see. We are going to again use another recursive CTE. In this problem, we will be using 3 recursive CTEs. Okay, so I will say temp underscore s as, and over here I will say select, okay, select employee underscore ID as manager underscore ID. Okay, then I will say employee underscore ID, okay, as I will, let us say sub underscore ID, okay, for the subordinate. And here I will say salary, I need the salary, okay, from which particular table? From, I need it from the employees table. Okay, So now what has happened that I have taken this entire table as my base case. So initially this entire table becomes my temp-s, right? I need to union this all with, after this I will just select and I will say s dot manager id, okay, comma I will say e dot employee underscore id, and after that I will say e dot salary, right, e dot salary from, and I will give it as temp underscore s as s, okay, and then I will join it with the employees as e on. Now think about this, this temp s becomes my this entire table, right? And now employees, again I have taken one more table like this, right? And here what I want is I want to go ahead and map, the from the employees table I want to go ahead and map the manager id, okay, the manager id with the this sub id over here, right, this id, the employee id, the manager id with the employee id of the tempest. So from the tempest table I want to go ahead and I want to get the employee id, and from the employee table, right, I want to go ahead and get the manager id, and I want to go ahead and perform this mapping over here, right? So for employee id 1 it will be mapped to Bob and Charlie, okay, then the table will be starting from here. Then for Bob, that is for employee id 2, it will be starting from David, to Judy over here. Then for employee id 3 it will be going ahead and it will be starting from Frank, Grace, Hank, Ivy and Judy, okay. So I will be getting all the people who are the direct and the indirect reportees, okay, in this particular case. So all the people who are reporting, right, like all the people, like for example employee id 3, right, wherever we have the manager id as 3, or the people who are below, whose manager id is greater than 3 in this case, so we will be getting all those records in pairs, right? So with this what I will go ahead and do, I will say that I want the manager id, right, I want the manager id from where, I want the manager id from the employees table, and I want it equal to the, I want it to be equal to the sub id, that is this employee id, the sub id over here, right, that is this employee id, correct. Once I go ahead and once I run this, you will see what will happen. Select everything from Tempest. Now if I go down, right, you will see this. For manager id 1, sub id 1 is there, 1 2 3 4 5, all the people who are direct, who are indirect and direct reporters, all of them are present for manager id, that is 1, which is obviously because he is the CEO. But if you just take a look for manager id, okay, where the sub id is 2, right, see 2 is present, right, then for 1 there is 4, 1, then for 1 there is 5, correct. So every time, right, it is starting from 4 then 5, right, it is going level by level. So for level 1, if you can just see, right, for level 1 if you can just see, 1 is for 1, right, then for second level it is starting from here, right, second person it is starting from here, for 1 is for 2 2 3 3 4, then 4, then 6, like that, right. Then next time it is starting from 4, right, the reason why it is starting from 4 because it is id 2, right, so 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right, and next time it will be starting from 5. So it is just like that, it is going on just like that, okay. So this is going to go ahead and this is going to give us the direct and indirect reportees, okay. Now let us go ahead and let us calculate, okay. After we get this, we now need to go ahead and calculate the team size and the budget. Okay, so let us go ahead, and after we get this value, right, what we need to do, we need to we will say temp underscore t. We will create one more recursive CTE. Okay, sorry, not recursive CTE. Recursive CTE will be 2. This time we will create one more CTE, normal CTE. Okay, and we are going to say select, and I will say s dot manager ID. Correct. Obviously s dot manager ID, so this will be mapped with the temp underscore s, whatever we are getting from this table, right? So we need the manager ID from here, right? If we go down, we need the manager ID from here, right? Obviously manager ID is every time it's repeating. Okay, so we need the manager ID from here, and after that we need the count of everything, right, -1, because I don't want the manager itself to be involved, right? Because if you just look at the team size, just like I mentioned, right, team should be excluding the manager. All the people who are below, reporting below direct and indirect reportees, they should be the one who should be counted. So count of everything -1 as team size, right? And then after that, this is budget, so I will say sum of the salary, correct, as budget, correct, and then I will say from temp underscore s as s. Okay, and then I'm going to group it by, what? There are many manager IDs over here, as you can see, right? For manager ID 1, these are the indirect reportees, right? For manager ID 2, 8 is the indirect reportee. So for every manager ID, we are getting the direct and the indirect reportee, right? So we do not want the, we want to add the salary for this particular person. We don't want to count this one. That's why we did count -1, but we want to add the salary, right? So we need to group it by this manager ID, right? So we will group it by the manager underscore ID. I hope you have understood this part, right? Because this part is a little confusing. Okay, we can see many. So in short, what I will explain it one more time. Manager ID 1 is there, right? For manager ID 1, obviously 1 will be the one who will report to itself, right? Now 1 is reporting to 2 and 3, correct? Sorry, 2 and 3, they are reporting to 1. That's why for manager ID 1, 2 and 3 is there. So these are the direct reportees, right? Now if I go down, see 1 is also reported by 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And these 4 are indirect reportees. Okay, and over here if we go down, then for manager ID 1 we have 8, 9, 10, which are again indirect reportees. Similarly, we will be having this particular record for all the IDs, right? All the employees over here, for Bob, for Charlie, for those people who have some manager ID over here, correct? And if we just go down, right, it ends over here. One for if you just see for employee ID 3, right, we have this 10. So 10th person, that is Judy, right, they indirectly report to this guy Charlie, right? So this is what it means. So we need to group it by manager ID over here, and after this what we will get, we will get these values, the team size and the budget values, right? We will say select everything from temp underscore t. If you go down, you will just see that we have the manager ID, we have the team size, and we have the budget. And if you just see the budget and the team size, it is going to correctly map. Okay, we have the values now with us, correct values with now, right? Now only thing that is missing over here, if you just look at the ordering, right, ordering, if you ignore the ordering for the moment, obviously 8 is 6,000 over here, 8 is shown as 6,000. If you ignore the ordering for the moment, then the budget and team size, they are correctly mapped. Okay, now we need to go ahead and we need to write the final. We have everything we have got in place. Now we have to we have to create that particular structure. Okay, so we will say select h dot employee ID, okay, then h dot employee name, right, we will also have the level as well. And after this, okay, after this what we will do, we also need the t dot team size as well, right? So I will say t dot team size, right? And I will say t dot team size as team underscore size, obviously. And then I will also say t dot budget as budget, correct? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to say from it's going to be temp underscore h, right? Because we want to go ahead and map it with the hierarchy, okay? And then over here, okay, now which type of join we are going to use, okay? We want, okay, from the hierarchy, right, we want all the managers, right? So we will be using the left join, right? And the reason why we will be using the left join, why? Because if you can just see for people like 10, 9, 8 and 7, right? If you just look at for 7, 8, 9, 10, right, they are not managers, right? But we also need data for them as well. If you can just go down, you will just see that we also need data for them, right? So that is the reason why we will be using this left join, right, for people who are not managers, right? So left join, and then over here we will just say temp underscore t, okay? We will mapping with temp underscore t as t. On which, on what grounds we are going to map it? So we need to map from the hierarchy table, we need to go ahead and map, that is temp underscore h table, we need to map the employee underscore id, right, with the t dot manager id, right? I hope this is understood. Here in this particular table, right, we only have the data for the managers, okay, but here we only have the data for the employees. So for all the employees we need the data, okay? So here we will go ahead and we will use the left join in that case. And now what we will do, we are going to go ahead and apply the ordering logic. Order by h dot level. Now what is the order? Order is level should be in ascending order, so level h dot level ascending. Then it is budget, right? So dgt budget is also going to be in ascending order, and the employee name, right, that is h dot employee name should be in descending or I'll say, okay, all three should be in ascending order, okay? Now if I go ahead and if I run this, it should give me the result. Okay, it's not. Let us go ahead and see. Okay, Eva and Grace, it is 0 and 0. Okay, okay, so team size, here it is 1 and 2, 4 and 0, and salary is also not added up. Wait, salaries added up? No, salary is also not added up. 6,000, okay, because it's coming 0 and 0 for 5th and 7th. 8,000, okay, no, this value is coming fine, only the team size ordering is not done properly. Count -1 as team size. Okay. So team size can also be null if I go ahead and I need to use this function over here, coolies, okay, LESCE, and if I go ahead and if I give this 0, okay, I want to return the non-null values from here. And for budget also, right, we want to go ahead coolies. Here also we need to go ahead and make sure that if budget is not there, then only the salary of that particular person is reflected for people who are having no reportees. So 5 and 7, nobody reports to 5 and 7, so that's why it is showing 0 over here as team size, right? Level as 1. If I now go ahead and run this should work. T.salary does not exist. Sorry, it should be h.salary. Salary should come from the hierarchy table. It is again saying okay. To be very frank and honest, queries, we really need queries. We don't need queries. Okay, my bad. It was not about the queries actually. Query, it would work without queries as well. It should be descending. My bad. I did not read this, but it should be in descending order. Now it should run. Okay, now it has run. If I go ahead and if I submit this, okay, it has given me a very bad result. Let me run it again. Slightly better. Let me again run it. Yes. So now it has given me a runtime of 280 milliseconds. It beats 82.36%. So this is a pretty efficient solution. This really was a hard category problem. Okay, and the reason why it was hard, because we have to apply 2 recursive CTEs and 1 normal CTE to get the result. Okay, it can be a little challenging. Okay, and I hope I have been able to explain you. I know explanation for this topic is a little difficult. Okay, but I really tried my best to explain you guys. Okay, I hope you really have understood. If you have not, then please whatever you have not understood, please jot it down in the comment section below, and I will try to help you out with this one. Okay, so I hope I was able to clear your doubts in this. Okay, so I hope you really enjoyed watching this session. If you did, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.